Hi guys. Okay, so for social studies today, I'm going to try to make it kind of quick. We're going to continue our road trip, and today's actually the last day that we're doing this road trip, and then next time we do a social studies video, it'll be a little bit different. So on our road trip, we have gone to a bunch of different states and a bunch of different towns and cities across the United States. We started on the East Coast and we've slowly in our little road trip been going west and farther west and checking out a bunch of cool stuff. And today is just the very end. So we are going to go to the Pacific Coast and San Francisco, and those are both in California, where I'm from. I feel like this is the perfect way to end for me because that's where I used to live. I used to live there. So we're going to get started. It's already being wonky and not letting me go. Okay, there we go. So first things first, I have a bunch of pictures here, and I want you guys to think about where we traveled last week. Our first picture is of a desert. We talked a little bit about this desert. It has kind of a spooky name or a scary name because nothing lives there. Think really hard about it. A bunch of people moved here because they wanted to mine for some metals. So we have a picture of some of their older towns. This is a jackrabbit in that desert. This is a national park in California, and one of our presidents said this was the most beautiful place he'd ever seen. Starts with a Y. Here's a cougar or a mountain lion. So those first pictures were of Death Valley, the hottest place in America, and then the second group of pictures was of Yosemite National Park. So we're gonna kind of keep moving today. This says, today we're headed to 2 more places in California. Hop in the big blue bus, first graders. So everybody pretend you're getting in the bus. Buckle your seatbelt up. Get your snacks out. Okay, first place we're going to go is San Francisco. This is a picture of San Francisco. And just looking at this picture, the first thing we can see is that it's a big city. Look at those huge buildings. This is huge. And then I don't know if you can see, but we have ocean back here in the background. This is a pretty picture, huh? Zoom in a little bit. San Francisco became a busy city almost overnight when gold was discovered east of there in 1848. So we live in 2020 now. 1848 was a long, long time ago. Long time ago. This is a picture that says, the day gold rush began, actual times, January 24th, 1848. And then it says, gold from the American River. And this man was panning for gold in this river, and he found gold. I'm sure most of you guys know what gold is, but gold is a really precious metal that we use for jewelry and we used to use it for money. And it's worth a lot of money. So if you just found gold in a river one day, all of a sudden you just went from being this poor, person to having a lot of money. And all you had to do was look in a river for it. So when this news got out, a lot of people moved. So these are pictures of, this is a drawing. This isn't actually really an old drawing of people who are looking for gold too. California gold diggers, it says. And then it says a something from actual life at the mines. So this is a cool picture. I don't know when this was, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was like an etching from that time when people were living there. And then this is cool. These are actual pictures of people during this time that are mining for gold. So when you look at this picture, there's a bunch of different things that I notice. I know that this is an older photo because of the colors, right? I notice there are 2 different groups of people. Over here on the right, we have people who you can tell are maybe from China or another country in that region. And then over here, you have some people who look like they're, maybe from America. You can kind of see the clothes that they're wearing are like not really exactly like the clothes that we wear today. These guys have hats on over here and then over here to protect their head because it looks like it's sunny outside, and they've got on like some work boots, it looks like. And then you can kind of see this like weird thing in the middle, this like sluice kind of thing, but they look like they've all got tools. They look like they're in the middle of working, right? So pretty interesting. This guy here, look at that mustache. Oh my gosh. I wonder if you guys can grow a mustache like that. He's got kind of like a little pan and he's dipping it in the water. And if you look there, it looks like there's a little bit of dirt on the inside of it. So I'm going to explain what that is in just a minute. Here's some more of those sluices and just look how many people there are. Look at how many people there are. Another thing that I notice about this picture that is just totally nutso beans to me is if you look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause this actually. Check this out. If you, oh, it's not going to let me do it. I'm trying to, okay, so you guys can see on my light. If you look like here, these people where the light is shining are dressed up like very, very fancy. Look at this guy with his top hat on. He's wearing a suit. This woman here has like a fancy dress on. This guy's got a top hat on. This guy has like a cane and a top hat. And then you have like these workers over here. What in the world? These workers are working. This guy right here, look at him in his fancy cane. Canes were like a way to be fancy for men back in the day. And then you have him and he's in a suit and he has a tie and he has a top hat. Like what in the world is happening? I'm guessing that these people, some of these people who are like dressed up really, really nice, maybe made a lot of money in the gold rush and they wanted to be in this photo. So they dressed up super fancy to show that they made all this money. That's just like a prediction that I'm making. And then you've got a bunch of other people working out here. So that is just so funny to me. They're like in the middle of the wilderness and they just, are all dressed up. Another picture of these guys that you can tell they're kind of in some work clothes. They're painting for gold. And then this is another etching or a drawing. And let me zoom out a little bit. They're like in some tents here. They've got a campfire going. They've got some guns. Maybe they went hunting to get some food. They've got all these tools out here. People are moving and working around behind them. Pretty crazy. So this is some pictures of what this gold rush looked like in 1848. This says the gold miners used tools to help them find gold. They used gold pans like these. So this is called a gold pan. You'd stick it in water. You'd put a little bit of dirt in there, and the gold used to be in the dirt. So what they would do is they'd get like a bunch of dirt, and then they would shake and shake and shake and shake and shake. And what they do is some of the water would slowly start to come out, and the water would take the dirt with it because dirt isn't very heavy, but the gold is heavy. So a little bit of the water would go out and the dirt would go out, but the gold would stay in this pan. And then pretty soon they'd have like some gold in their pan, and then they'd take their gold out and move it over somewhere special. And then they'd do it again. They'd keep it. But it would be like hard work. You're just like this all day. These are called rockers. And rockers are kind of the same thing. Rockers would shake and shake. They'd put some water and dirt in the top, and what would happen is the water and the mud would kind of spill out, and then the gold would stay in the bottom of the rocker. And this looks like hard work to me too. You would just be sitting there like shaking this rocker all day long. That's all you would be doing. This says, and flumes or sluices. Everybody say flumes or sluices. Oh, I keep skipping. There we go. These are called flumes or sluices, and if you make a connection in Disneyland someday, if you've ever gone or if you ever will go, they have this ride, and on the ride, it's like a gold rush ride, and basically you sit in a little cart, and they made these like fake flumes, and then they put a little boat in the flumes, and you would ride through the Disneyland ride in an old flume or an old sluice. It's kind of cool. And this is the same thing. You'd put a bunch of water and mud at the top, and it'd go all the way down, and it'd somehow get the gold out, but that's pretty nutso to look at. Here's a drawing of people and they're throwing mud out and they're putting some dirt in. And this guy right here has a gold pan he's in his hand. Ooh. How fast that log is going. This looks like a log run to me. But maybe what they did is they turned these into sluices or flumes. So those are some of the tools that they would use. This says ships. Uh-oh. Let me move me. This says, ships loaded with gold seekers from all over the world poured into San Francisco, because once this news got out that there's gold there, everybody was like, I need to go get some of this gold. So all over the world, like look at that picture of those men who came from China, who came from another country. They came from everywhere. People were coming from all over the world. The population jumped from about 800 people, which is not very, we don't even have 800 people at Trinity, but if you think of like, maybe 4 Trinities worth of students, that's how many 800 people would be. in 1848 to about 25,000 in 1849. So in 1 year, they went from only 800 people to 25,000 people. And that's like all of Williston. Like if all of a sudden every single person in Williston just moved to like the middle of nowhere. Think about how crazy that would be. And there wasn't any stores or anything there to help all these people. Okay, let's keep going. So this is some pictures of where they had to live, because when they moved there, are there houses? Is there anywhere for them to be? No, they just had to put together these little tiny places to live. So you can see this guy here has like a little log cabin. Look at, there's a puppy. This guy's living in a tent over here. This guy has some like kind of metal maybe around, but he's just basically living outside. They're basically just camping out here. Look at this. Look at these guys. They just have like sticks leaned up against some rocks with a sheet on the side. Wow. Could you imagine you stay out here in the wintertime? It doesn't get very cold in California, but I mean, that would be cold. And there's animals out there maybe. Oh, no, thank you. This is a picture of San Francisco, the town. Look how many people are there. I can't read what that sign says. It looks like they're kind of protesting something. Maybe they're out having some kind of rally about something. But you can tell there's a lot of people there. And then this is a picture on the bottom. How cool is this? It says San Francisco in 49. And you can kind of see some tents down here on the front. This is called the Wharf. Photo was shot from the top of a building on Portsmouth Square, but you can see all the boats out here. Pretty cool. Today, in 2020, about 864,000 people enjoy the beautiful scenery in San Francisco. So these are some pictures of San Francisco today. Besides seeing the Golden Gate Bridge, tourists come from all over the world to see Lombard Street, which is the crookedest street in the world, Chinatown, Fisherman's Wharf, and the streets that are so steep that cars look like they stand on end. Steep means the streets are like this. They're almost vertical. So this is a picture. This is a crazy story. This is a picture of something called Alcatraz. And Alcatraz is a jail that's on an island. They put a jail on an island. So if you had to go to jail and you had to go to Alcatraz, you'd have to go out on a boat to get onto this island. How crazy is that? I've been here before. It is so wild to go inside. They used to say that this was like the most dangerous prison or whatever, and they'd put all the worst people here. Pretty crazy. It was super cool though to go, and you get to go inside the prison if you go, and you get to look at all the jail cells, and it's just really nutso. This is a picture. I think this picture is just so cool. You can kind of see how big this city is. Just look how tall these buildings are. There are so many buildings here. So many people here. I don't know if I'd actually like to live like with all of these people, but I still think it looks just so cool. Like, look how pretty the water is and the bridge. Holy guacamole. This is one of those streets that is super steep. It looks like some of those cars are just gonna roll right down. Who would like to drive on this? Not me. No way, Jose. I would not like to drive on this. If you look right here too, you can kind of see in the middle of the road they have like trains almost, like these train tracks. These are called trolleys, and you can get on a trolley and ride around San Francisco in a trolley, which is pretty cool. Really cool. These are called painted ladies. They're really fancy, beautiful houses that are painted these really pretty colors. And these houses are really, really expensive. It costs like a ton of money if you want to live in these houses. But they're really cool looking. Look how pretty they are. And then this is called the Golden Gate Bridge. It's this big, huge bridge that crosses over the bay in San Francisco, and it's painted this bright red color. So if you ever see a picture of a bright red bridge that looks like this, it's probably the Golden Gate Bridge. And then here are some more pictures here. This is called Lombard Street. Lombard Street is the crookedest street in the whole world. Look, you can kind of see how all these cars are going shoop, 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 shoop. So crazy. Wouldn't it be fun if you like lived right here and you could just like look out your window and watch all these people? Look at how crookedy that street is. So crooked. I have a picture of me and Josh and we were standing right here on the end of the street, and he's in his cowboy boots, and he was the only person there in his cowboy boots. This is called Chinatown. So like we talked about it, a lot of people moved to San Francisco because of this gold rush, and a lot of people came from all over the world. And slowly over all the years that San Francisco has been a city, a lot of people have moved from China or from other countries kind of in that area. And there are so many people in San Francisco who are from Chinese descent or are Chinese, but they've created this little, it's called like a suburb, like a little area in San Francisco where all the streets, everything on every single street, there's just a ton of different like Chinese stores and Chinese pharmacies and medicine shops and like all this cool stuff. And they sell like seafood and everybody is speaking Chinese, and it's just like wild. It's almost like when you go into Chinatown in San Francisco, like you are walking in a different country. It's just crazy. And even on some of these signs, you guys can see, like, you can see that this is not in English. This is in English here, but like here, this is in another language. And then here too, we've got these cool like red hanging lanterns, and you see some like Chinese writing. Look at these cool like street lights. They look kind of like, I don't know, have some Asian influence, it looks like. And then this is a parade. I don't know what parade this is, but it might be like a Chinese New Year parade. You can tell people are all dressed up and they're carrying this really cool dragon. Oh, that would be such a cool parade to go to. This is called Fisherman's Wharf. And because San Francisco is right up next to the ocean, there's a lot of people who like fish there and sell seafood there. So this is just like a cool place where people go and you can have seafood and look over at the bay. Look at all these animals. Holy moly. Are these seals? These look like seals to me. And then this is I just had to get one more cool picture in here. This is another picture of that really, really steep street. And then you can kind of see the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. You can see all these cool buildings that are like, look, they're stacked up on top of each other. Oh my gosh, look how steep. Look at this. I'd be so nervous to park my car here. I would just be so nervous to do it. There you go. Okay. Now we're going to talk about some kind of sad stuff that have happened. And I was thinking about this and I was like, it's hard to talk about sad stuff sometimes. But I think that it's really important too. So San Francisco has suffered two really, really terrible earthquakes. One was more than 100 years ago in 1906. That one was really, really bad. And then another bad one in 1989, which your parents were like alive when that one happened, which is crazy. You should ask them about it. This says the 1906 earthquake was much worse than the 1989 one. So the reason I'm telling you about all this, San Francisco lives on something called a fault line, which is like two plates underneath Earth. This is all complicated. You don't need to know this, but it means that there's a lot of earthquakes there, like a lot. And some of them can be really, really bad. Earthquakes is just when like the ground shakes and everything shakes because those two plates rub up against each other and it just destroys buildings, and they're really dangerous. You know, we don't really have them here. And I have some pictures of some of these earthquakes to show you guys. So you can just tell that these earthquakes are horrible. Like, it looks like there's a lot of smoke, or there's a lot of maybe like dust coming up from buildings collapsing. You can see that there's, like, I'll move my head. You can see that this building, like some of the walls fell off. So it's pretty scary stuff. I mean, earthquakes are definitely hard, and you know, people can get hurt, and it's not fun. And I was thinking about, should I tell them about this? Like, should I? Oh, I disappeared. Okay, sorry. I think it's important though for us to know that this stuff happens. You know, in our lives, bad stuff is going to happen. Like this whole coronavirus thing is not fun, right? But it happens, and the cool thing is, though, is that God has made us really resilient and he protects us in all things. So even though these things have happened in San Francisco, you know, God is protecting these people and life is still going to kind of go on. San Francisco has totally rebuilt. So this is another kind of scary picture of the earthquake. You can see all the rubble down here on the ground, all these buildings over here. Look like they've collapsed. People are walking around. Maybe they're looking for like a lost dog. Maybe their dog ran away, or maybe they're, you know, trying to go get food somewhere. I wonder what they're doing as they're kind of walking around. It's cool to think about. Oh, thanks. There we go. And then this is a picture of one of maybe the important buildings they had downtown. I don't remember exactly when I made this, but I'm guessing this is probably like a government building. But look at it, it's all collapsed. Oi. How crazy. So look at this road. Their road like cracked open and one of the carts went into the road here. How crazy that this road, and you can tell the road has just like these bricks and it's just totally cracked open. That's just wild to me. I kind of like this picture. So it looks like these people here are sitting at a table and they're eating. I can't tell if that woman's holding a baby or not, but it looks like the house behind them maybe is their house. They went through and they got their table out, they got their books out, and they all sat down around the table and they're all sitting together. And I just really like that. It just makes my heart happy to think that even with all this scary, sad stuff going around and on, they're sitting at their table and they're enjoying being with their family and they're trying to, you know, make the best of the situation. So I really like that picture. And then here's another kind of a sad one, but you can tell this church in the middle is still standing, which is cool. I like that one too. This is a picture of the earthquake that happened in 1989, and obviously it looks a lot different. We have, like, you can tell there's streetlights in this picture, but you can see the construction workers walking around in their jeans. They're kind of wearing what we wear, and then you can obviously see this freeway that has just totally collapsed, which is so scary to think about that can happen. But I mean, that's just, I guess, it's just something that, you know, it can happen. So we just have to, you know, pray and be thankful that we know ultimately that God is with us, right? So here's another picture of this earthquake. And then this one's, look at how crazy that the side of the building is cracked. Just a crazy picture to think about. So this is a picture of a bridge, and it looks like part of the road like fell onto the other part down and below. And these people are already coming down to the rescue to help get it all figured out. And they're having to tear that building down because it looks like it was destroyed. These people are already getting back to work. They're already trying to fix everything. So those are the earthquakes that happened in San Francisco. We're going to keep going. It says hop in the van because now we're headed down to the California coast to see some more beautiful sights. So this is a picture of our van leaving. This one says, as we drive along this beautiful coast, we can see steep cliffs rise out of the beautiful blue ocean. Oh no. Oh, beans, it started me all the way over. Okay. Oh, there we are. So this is a picture of a place called Big Sur, and it's just this beautiful mountainside that comes right up to the ocean, and you can see the mountains stop right where the ocean starts. I think God was so creative when he made this. Look at these pretty yellow flowers. Here is a picture of a road. Excuse me, going along the Pacific Highway, or along the Pacific coast. I would love to go on a road trip here. And then this is, okay, so this is a place that I used to live, actually. How beautiful. Look at this, these beautiful mountains behind. And then you can see the coast, and then you have the pier going out. So, so beautiful. This is called the Central Coast. And there's a lot of, like, farms here. It's just a really cool place to live. So you can see all those cool buildings. I wonder if there's, like, some good places to eat in there. All right. Lots of food is grown in California, like I said. There are many, many farms and ranches and orchards. This is actually a picture of Bakersfield, where I used to live. These are almond trees. They're so pretty. Lots and lots of almond orchards in California. And then this is another picture of the Central Coast, and you can see that they've got some trees here. It looks like these trees are, maybe it's wintertime, but maybe orange trees, maybe avocado trees. Okay, I'm not going to show you this video. But I will post it and you can watch it a little bit later. That is the end of that. Please take some time and fill out your social studies paper for me. And let me know something that you learned while you were watching this. And if you have questions, let me know. Okay, love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.